Okay, this lesson we're going to be talking about if you can see this, the circle of fifths. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna remember is this sentence, and I don't know if you can see it right here, but it's the most important sentence you'll need to remember. Fat cats go down alleys eating birds. And you see I've got each of these, like the first letters in bold. So this sentence is actually written in fifths. F to C is a fifth, C to G is a fifth, G to D is a fifth, D to A is a fifth, A to E. And when I say fifth, I mean you count, like F to C, I go F, G, A, B, C. And then C, D, E, F, G. So like C would be 1. I count C as 1, D is 2, E is 3, F is 4, G is 5. So C to G is a fifth. G to D, G, A, B, C, D, D, E, F, G, A, and so on. Okay, A, B, C, D, E. You're counting up a fifth every time. Okay, and it is always going to be, as we move around the circle of fifths, you're moving in a perfect fifth every time. So I'm gonna zoom that back out so you can see. We're gonna start, the first key that has no sharps and no flats is the key of C, okay? So key of C has no sharps and no flats, and if you are looking at it on the piano, then it's like this. This note C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. So that's your major scale. You notice I'm not playing any black notes, it's all white keys. So these are my sharps and flats, the black keys, and the key of C has no sharps and flats. So that's the key of C. So again, if we count up a fifth, I count up C, D, E, F, G. If I look at it on the piano, I go C, E, F, G. So the next key starts with the key of G. So we've gone up a fifth to the key of G. So at the 1 o'clock spot, we've got G. Okay, so where do the fat cats come in? So the key of G has 1 sharp, okay? That 1 sharp is F. Okay, so let me show you. Now when I play my G major scale, I go G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. So the key of G has 1 sharp, it's F sharp. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is write G, and I've got an F sharp here. Okay, we count up a fifth from G. G, A, B, C, D. So I go to D, that's the next key. It's got 2, so if it's got 2 sharps, you're always gonna retain the sharp that you had previously. So in the key of G, we had an F sharp. So in the key of D, we're gonna have F sharp plus the next one. So fat, that's F, cats, that's C. So the key of D has 2 sharps, fat cats, F sharp and C sharp. Okay? So F sharp and C sharp. The next one, I count up a fifth from D. D, E, F, G, A. So the next key is the key of A major. Has 3 sharps. We know we're gonna keep these, so it's already got F sharp and C sharp. And if you remember, the sentence says fat cats go. So F sharp, C sharp, G sharp. So they call it the circle of fifths. Like everything in the world in this diagram revolves around fifths. Okay, up a fifth from A, this one's easy. A, B, C, D, E. So the next key is the key of E. That's at 4 o'clock. E has 4 sharps, F, C, G, fat cats go, D, down. So fat cats go down, that's F, C, G, D. Okay. Now up a fifth from E, and I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to explain and show you how we're always going up a perfect fifth. Okay. So if you remember, a perfect fifth is 3 1/2 steps. Okay. So if this is my E right here, I'm going to go E up a whole step, because up here is a half step. So whole step, that's one whole step. Then from here to here, that's another whole step. From here, that's G sharp or A flat, to here, that's 3 whole steps. So I've gone whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. So 3 1/2 steps is from E to B. That's a perfect fifth right there. So every time in this circle of fifths, we're going up a perfect fifth. So this is the key of B, okay? It's got 5 sharps. Fat cats go down alleys. F, C, G, D, A. And all those are sharp, okay. So 6 sharps, okay? This is where this one can be confusing, because if you count up 5 from B, you'll go B, C, D, E, F, right? But it's not F. Why is it not F? Because these are all my sharp keys, and I've already got an F sharp in the key signature in all of these. So when I go to the next key, it's the key of F sharp, and it's got 6 sharps, okay? And so when I go up a perfect fifth from B, I go, okay, there we go. B to C sharp, that's a major second. C sharp to D sharp, that's a major second. D sharp to F natural, that's a major second, so that's 3 whole steps. F natural to F sharp, that's a minor second, so I've gone up 3 1/2 steps. So B to F sharp, that's my next key, is the key of F sharp, and it's got 6. I'll put this one at the bottom, F sharp. Okay, and it's fat cats go down alleys eating. Okay, now you see how it doesn't have a 7. Okay, I want you to think about this in theory. This is why it's called music theory, because theoretically, if I took the key of C major and I raised everything a half step, then that would be, instead of playing C, I'd play C sharp. Instead of D, I'd play D sharp. Instead of E, I'd play E sharp, but we would never call it that. We'd call it F. Instead of F, I'd play F sharp. Instead of G, G sharp. So everything would be sharped, all 7 notes, and that would be the key of C sharp major, okay? But what's another word for C sharp? Because we can call this C sharp, or we can call it D flat, okay? And I'm gonna show you where this D flat comes in, okay? Make sense? So up here, number 5, where if we kept going around, E, B, F sharp, this could potentially be a C sharp. We're not gonna call this C sharp, but remember, number 6 or number 5 right here on the flat side, that's gonna be a D flat, because C sharp and D flat are technically the same pitch, okay? So in music theory, you need to remember a few numbers. 7 is the main one that I kind of think everything revolves around, because the major scale has 7 notes in it. And if I take the number 7, so say I'm in, like we just did, the key of C major. If I sharped everything, then you'd have the key of C sharp major. If I made everything flat, you'd have the key of C flat major. So if I'm in the key of D major, okay, D major, I've got 2 sharps, F and C. And I'm gonna show you this, how this is gonna work. So D major, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. Okay, so now if I made everything flat, then I would have D flat, E flat. Instead of F sharp, it would be F natural. Instead of G natural, I'd have G flat. Instead of A natural, A flat. Instead of B natural, I got B flat. And instead of C sharp, I'm going to have C natural. So the notes that I did have as sharps in the key of D are now going to be F and C natural, and the notes that were natural in the key of D are now going to be flat. Because if I shift everything down a half step, then they switch out, they swap out. So now if I go down, because this is all built in fifths, so if I go down a fifth from C, let's go down a fifth, okay? So I'm here on C, and I'm gonna go down a fifth, and we'll go the opposite direction. And it's 3.5 steps, that's a perfect fifth. So C to B flat, that's a major second. B flat to A flat, that's a major second. A flat to G flat is a major second. And then we gotta go to half steps, because 3.5 steps. So from C down to F is a perfect fifth. Okay, so the first key in the flats is the key of F. Okay, F. And if you remember, I'm going to show you this. So we talked about fat cats go down alleys eating birds, okay? This is the order of sharps. Okay. Does anyone want to guess what the order of flats is? Flats go the opposite direction, okay? So B, E, A, D, G, C, F. I don't have an acronym for that one, I just memorized it. But if I go to the key of F and I go, okay, key of F, it's got one flat. What is it? It's B. So the key of F has a B flat. And you can see it when you play the F major scale. B flat, C, D, E, F. And if you remember our old like whole step, half step, whole step, half step, that's a major scale. So whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, and then a half step. Okay? So now, if I go down a fifth from F, a perfect fifth, that note is a B flat. And as a guitar player, we don't like just jive with flat keys. If you're like a band person, you play a horn or some kind of brass or woodwind, even piano players, they play a lot more in flat keys than guitar players do. Guitar players love sharp keys, and we always struggle with flat keys. But key of B flat, it's got two flats. Remember, it's the opposite. So B, E is the reverse order of our flats. So the two flats in the key of B flat are B flat and E flat. I don't know why I did a slash there, but okay. Again, down a fifth from B flat is an E flat. Okay. If it's got three flats, B, E, A. I'm not going to keep flipping that page over, but B, E, A, D, G, C, F. That's the order of flats. Order of sharps, F, C, G, D, A. Fat cats go down alleys eating birds. Oh, look at that. It's all in fifths right there. How about it? Okay. And then I want to show you a cool correlation after I do this. So E flat. has 3 flats, B, E, and A. Okay, what number did I tell you to remember? The number 7, okay? So look at the key of E major. It's got 4 sharps. The key of E flat has 3 flats. 4 plus 3 is 7, okay? Also, the notes that are sharp here are not, the notes that are sharp, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, in the key of E, plus the notes here make up the 7 letter names in the scale. So if I got F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp in the key of E flat, they're going to be F, C, G, D natural. And the notes that were natural in this key are now flat in this key. So if I go back and forth, I got A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So you're always going to have 7, okay? So look here at the key of B. I've got 5 sharps. The key of B flat has 2 flats. Key of F sharp has 6 sharps. The key of F has 1 flat. And notice how B is not one of these, but it is the flat up here. So you're always going to have all 7 letter names, okay? So one way I can do this, I can go, okay, what key has 4 flats? Well, what key has 3 sharps? Because 4 plus 3 is 7. So I can go over here and go, okay, the key of A has 3 sharps. So that means this is probably going to be the key of A flat, which it is. Because if I go down a fifth from E flat, I've got an A flat. And B, E, A, D, G, C, F, that's my order of flats. So B, E, A, D. Okay? Now, you remember I said, remember this one because this was going to be the D flat. Okay, so D flat is down a fifth from A, and it's got 5 flats, B, E, A, D, G. Okay, D flat has 5 flats. The key of D has 2 sharps. 2 plus 5 is 7. So there's a lot of corollaries between these two. If it's almost like if you know the sharps, you can figure out the flats, or if you know the flats, you can figure out the sharps because of the correspondence between these two. Now, here I've got F sharp with a line, and we've talked about inharmonic equivalence. So we have F sharp, here's F natural, F sharp is right here. So what's another name for this note? I can call it F sharp, I can also call it a G flat. Okay, so the key with 6 flats is going to be the key of G flat. The key of G has 1 sharp, so the key of G flat is going to have 6 flats because 6 plus 1 is 7. So B, E, A, D, G, C. We leave off the F. Okay, so those are my 6 flats in the key of G flat. Okay, does all that make sense? That is the circle of fifths, okay? Now, the next thing we're going to talk about in the next lesson is the relative minor keys. But for today, we're just going to stop with the circle of fifths. And one thing that you can do that's kind of a quick reference is you can look down here and say, okay, these are my sharp keys, these are my flat keys. So if it's got 1 sharp, it's G, 2 sharps, D, 3, A, and I'm corresponding these with like 1 sharp is the key of G, 2 sharps the key of D, 3 key of A, 4 the key of E, 5 B, 6 F sharp, and 7, even though it's not on here, we said theoretically it does exist, the key of C sharp. Please forgive my penmanship. Okay, and then our flat keys. 1 flat is the key of F. 2 flats is B flat. 3 flats is E flat. 4 flats is A flat. 5 is D flat. 6 is G flat. 7 C flat, which you would never say C flat, you would say the key of B. Okay? So that gets you your quick reference and all of the keys in the circle of fifths, okay? So why is this important? Okay, Excuse me. I've been in Missouri and they were cutting hay, and my allergies still haven't gotten completely back to normal. Let me get a drink. Why is it important? Okay, so say I'm writing a song and I want to write it in, I figure out that, like, okay, when I play this song in the key of D, it fits my voice best, okay? I need to know what notes and what chords I can play in the key of D that are gonna work together. So based on what we just wrote, the key of D has two sharps, F and C. So D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and I'm not gonna complete the octave, but it's a sharp key and I go fat cats. So two sharps, F sharp, C sharp. Okay, one of our other lessons we talked about how the chords in the Roman numeral system or Nashville number system, whichever one you want to use, D is always going to be the one chord because that's the root, that's the tonic, okay? So E would be 2, F sharp is 3, G is, and I'm talking about chords. So the one chord is a D major chord. The 2 chord is a minor chord. So that's going to be an E minor. 3 chord is always minor. And we're going to go into this. Next lesson is going to be chord spellings. Okay, but we did briefly talk about this where we talked about, like, a major chord has a major third on bottom and a minor third on top, and a minor chord is reversed. It's got a minor third on bottom, major third on top. 4 chord is major, 5 chord is major, 6 chord is minor, and the 7 chord is diminished chord. So diminished, minor, minor, minor. So I can look at that now that I know the key of D, and I know this formula. If I'm using natural notes in the D major scale, I'm not using any secondary notes, then this is never going to change. It's major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, and I can play, you know, my D major, E minor, F sharp minor, G major, A major, excuse me, B minor, C sharp diminished, and then back to the 1 chord D. Okay, so that gives me, that kind of narrows my parameters for songwriting. And like anything else, all these rules, they can totally be broken, and they will be, but it gives you a starting point for songwriting. So it is good to know your key signatures, because if I know, like, I'm going to be playing a song in the key of B, I know I'm going to be dealing with 5 sharps, you know, which may or may not be a good thing unless you have a capo, you know, so. But that is the circle of fifths with all the major keys. The next thing we'll talk about is the relative minors, and we'll start talking about these chords and the chord spellings for each key. All right, there you go.